same day, it was submitted to the JBC in July 2010. Why was her 2011 SALN not signed by her husband? Why was her 2011 SALN not... why did...
So anyway, he gave me certain instructions during that short briefing. And he told me, well, the more important things that I remember, and which I already have communicated to some of you by way of SMS, included an instruction to do what is right. You know, that is some sort of a general authority to do what I need to do to follow the law. And he expressly stated that he would not interfere in any way, all right, in the discharge of my functions as Secretary of Justice. He just reminded me to put special focus on the prosecution of crimes on illegal drugs and terrorism. All right, so parang may special focus on that. All the rest, I can do what I need to do for as long as I follow the rule of law. Sabi niya, pag merong lumapit sa akin, nakamag-anak niya, asking for any favor, consider it denied. So, as frankly as that. Okay, so he also told me to remove from the department those who are generally perceived and backed up by evidence to be engaged in some wrongdoing. Of course, we know what he meant by that, no? So he gave me a free hand to replace people who bring dishonor to the Department of Justice.
Any other? Sir? Sige po.
Sir?
Yes, Cedric.
I remember, sir, we were in the palace, sir, the day before the President announced the Secretary Aguirre's resignation. You said that the President, Secretary Aguirre still enjoys confidence of the President. Sir, would you say that anything has changed since that time until now?
Well, Cedric, that's not exactly what I said. No, I remember that I was doing the spokesperson's job at Malacanang at the time when a question like that was asked. And the question really was whether the President was satisfied with the performance of the Secretary of Justice. And I said that as far as I know, generally speaking, the President was happy with his choice of the Secretary of Justice, except that, you know, for some recent developments, or I even called it debacles in the DOJ, you know, things that somehow or created a lot of furor on the part of the public, as well as on the part of the President himself. Well, probably if only these things did not happen, this series of events na parang sort of raised eyebrows on the part of the public about the actuations of the Department of Justice, I believe that the Secretary Vid would still be enjoying the trust of the President and would continue to be the Secretary of Justice.
And what do you plan, sir, to do about this specific debacle?
So nahanyan na tayo, no? So I've been telling you, doon sa mga nagte-text sa akin, na I will have to review all of these past actions and resolutions of the DOJ. Alright, so these are all pending. Wala pa namang may finality dyan, no? And considering na ito yung parang the more important things that had happened in the recent past, I would give my focus on these matters. No? I'm not trying to prejudge anything. All I want to say is yan kagad ang una kong titingnan. Okay? So I'll just go by the facts, by the evidence presented, without any premature conclusion about how things will go. I won't even be bothered by public sentiment about these things, no? Because that's exactly what you mean when you say follow the rule of law. Okay, you don't cater, you don't pander to the emotions of the public.
Any other po? Ma'am, sige po.
Sir and Evelyn, relievers are for Philippines Star because our report is now in Bagong.
Yes, Evelyn.
Sir, ang I'm just wondering, sir, kasi your predecessor was very known to be the Duterte. How, and you came, sir, you joined Malacanang during the time of President Aquino. How will you, let's say, shield yourself from, there will be political issues probably that would concern the DOJ. How would you be able to shield yourself from being touted as, let's say, as pro-Duterte or being involved in politics?
Yeah, politics is not within the jurisdiction of the DOJ. DOJ is basically administration of criminal justice, no? Kaya nga blindfolded yung Lady Justice, no? So political considerations are definitely out of the question. All right. So I'm surprised really to a certain extent that the president chose me among so many people who are politically connected with him. More so because I also served under the previous administration in my capacity as Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs. But I just want to let all of you know that I never asked for any of these positions. I was recruited, I was requested to assist, and as a professional lawyer, I did my job. As a professional, I don't have any political membership in any groupings and so forth and so on. In the case of the president, I just happened to be also his lawyer. All right, even before when he was city mayor, I happened to be his lawyer, and therefore he knows me also quite personally. And most important of all, my law partner for 30 years, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, all right, was a man heavily trusted by the president. So apart from me being personally known by the president, much of it is also because of my law partner, and who is a childhood friend of the president. But I guess that the president has his own way of determining whether a person is suitable for a particular job or not. To his credit, he doesn't mind appointing people who do not belong to the same political group, or in other words, keeps an open mind about this. Kung tipong dati niyang kasamahan, ka-close niya, pero tingin niya parang hindi ayos ang trabaho, he doesn't waste any time taking out these people, in fairness to the president, no? So ganun din siya, in the same way that there are certain people who do not belong to his innermost circle, but whom he considers to be people na pwede niya mapagkatiwalaan, he appoints them. All right, so I guess that's about it, no? That's about it. Walang politika dito sa trabahong to. I have absolutely no agenda whatsoever, except to do my job as Secretary of Justice.
Any other po? Sige, ma'am.
Sir, do you think you'd have a smoother relationship or with other political bloc, what they call it, the supporters of former President Aquino, since you also served under him, sir?
Sila ang tanungin nyo. Sila ang tanungin nyo. Wala namang kaming masamang pinagsamahan. Dahil sa akin naman, trabaho lang naman yung ginawa ko. Wala naman akong inaway dahil sa politika. So I just did my job, and I think some of the former officials under the previous administration were happy also with having worked with me. Kaya siguro wala namang masyadong negative reception yung pagkaka-appoint sa akin ng presidente.
Okay?
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
One more.
Sir, reaction nyo lang doon sa comment ni Senator Laila de Lima na men of honor daw yung mga pinili ngayon ng Pangulong Duterte.
With respect to the two, of course, I will definitely agree with her. With respect to myself, syempre no comment ako dyan.
Okay?
Yeah.
Sir, when will you formally, sir, siguro pa assume or report, sir, dito, sir, sa office?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, start working tomorrow. Let me just say something about media relations. No? The past few days, I have been able to deal with you on parang sort of an individual basis, because I made a mistake of giving my personal phone number to somebody, and all of a sudden I was deluged with hundreds of text messages. Not that I regret it, what I'm just trying to say is that probably when I buckle down to work, I'll not be able to answer yung mga ganyang individual SMS messages, asking me this, asking me that. Okay, on my first couple of days after the announcement, talagang napudpud yung daliri ko sa pagsagot sa bawat text message na na-receive ko, no? But when I start working, when I buckle down to work, I will not be able to do that. So, I will probably refer your questions para lahat naman nakikinabang, no? Hindi yung parang individual scoops, to person in the department who will, of course, right now it's Yusek Balmes who's doing that, no? But I'm really actually considering the designation of an official spokesperson for the department. Okay, I hope you will not mind. I hope you will understand me if I request na hangga't maaari maiwasan natin yung ambush interviews. Kung pwede natin gawin na organized ang ating press briefings. Kasi mabigat para doon sa na-ambush nyo na magsalita, magbitiw ng salita sa isang mahalagang tanong na hindi nabigyan ng pagkakataon na pag-isipang munang mabuti yung kanyang sasabihin. So I hope you don't mind. As a lawyer, that's how I work, no? Before I open my mouth, I make sure that I know what I'll be talking about. Okay, kasi pag nasabi mo na publicly, mahirap po nang bawiin yan eh. Maiipit ka na. Makokompromiso mo yung buong department because of what you're saying. So, in my position as Secretary of Justice, I believe that I should be the last person na dapat nyong tanungin. Okay? If a case is still under investigation, then you throw your questions, no, to the people conducting the investigation. Not to the Secretary of Justice. He will have the final say on the matter after the investigation is done. So, wag naman sana yung parang masubo nyo siya to a situation na parang magkakaroon siya ng premature conclusion or prejudgment about a case which is still under investigation. So, I hope you will understand that, no? Maring hindi kasing sensational kung spokesperson lang ang kausap nyo or some subordinate official rather than the DOJ Secretary. But I guess for orderly procedure, para nobody gets compromised, para you get the facts straight, alright? And maiwasan natin yung mga confusion and misunderstanding, I suggest na ganun ang procedure na gawin natin. If I am well into the job and I'm very familiar with all the major cases pending before the DOJ, and I am confident that makasalubong ko kayo sa daan. You'll ask me a question and I'll be able to answer it well and good. But for now, siguro, pakiusap ko lang na medyo iwasan muna natin. I beg your indulgence. Let's get press briefings more organized. Okay? And yun lang basically. Okay? Ang request ko, especially in the beginning. I received many requests or invitations to guest in TV programs, phone patches every morning, and so forth and so on. But what am I supposed to tell them? Ngayon pa lang ako mag-assume. Ngayon pa lang ako magbabasa. Tatanungin exactly what will be my position in that case, or etc. etc. It's quite unfair for everyone na mapuwersa someone in a position like mine na mag-commit to answering a thing like that. Ngayon, kung sasabihin ko naman na pinag-aaralan pa, every time na tatanungin niyo ako, pinag-aaralan pa, magmumukha naman akong tanga nun, di ba? Kaya medyo ilagay lang natin sa ayos kung po pwede. So, umpisa lang naman. And I beg your indulgence and your patience.
Sir, follow-up question, sir. I believe this has already been asked.
Is this live on? No? Okay.
Sir, may tatanong lang ng colleague, sir. Ano po ang assurance na hindi kayo magiging biased considering you were part of the 2020 administration, sir?
It didn't even enter my mind, no, about it. Yun nga, paulit-ulit kong sinasabi na I don't want to speak publicly until I have studied the matter, you know. So, the only proof is in the pudding, di ba? The pudding is in the eating, so to speak. So, yung proof ng lack of bias, yung proof ng independence is something that is yet to be seen. That is what I promise, and that will have to be seen dun sa actual decisions that I will make in the future. I cannot make an empty promise unless it's backed up by actual actions in the future. So yun lang, that's in fact what the President told me. Do what is right. Okay? So if I am minded to follow strictly what the President's mandate, the mandate that the President has given to me, that's exactly the solution to your question. Alright? Do what is right, follow the rule of law.
Okay na po. Sige po. Salamat po.
Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
Yan po ang kauna-unahang press conference ng bagong Justice Secretary na si Menardo Guevarra. Giit niya walang halong politika sa pagkakatalaga sa kanya ni Pangulong Duterte bilang kalihim ng ahensya. Nagkataon lang na naging abogado siya ng Pangulo. Hiniling niya sa media na kung maaari ay iwasan ang mga ambush interview. Kukuha raw siya ng spokesperson para maging maayos ang media briefings. Kung may mga iniimbestigahang kaso, ang mga mismong nag-iimbestiga daw dapat ang mismong tanungin.